Like totally mess something up. And that little voice in your head just goes nuts.
Yeah.
Like even for the tiniest mistakes, it just unloads on you.
Ah, tell me about it. We've all been there, right?
Totally. And it's like, why are we so hard on ourselves? So today we're diving into something that I think can really help practical self-compassion. We found this source that really breaks it down, like how to actually make it work in our lives.
Right, because it's interesting. People hear self-compassion and they think it's just about like being nice to yourself,
Yeah.
which is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's so much deeper than that. This source talks about fundamentally changing how we relate to ourselves, especially when things are tough. So instead of that inner critic going on a rampage,
Ugh, the worst.
it's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would a friend, if they were going through the same thing.
Okay, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, less stress, more resilience. Who wouldn't want that? What I really like is this source lays out 5 actual trainable skills.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can build self-compassion like a muscle, which is not something I ever thought about.
Right.
It gives us stuff we can actually do, not just vague advice about being positive.
Exactly. It gets into the nitty-gritty, like acknowledging your feelings without judgment, which is huge.
So important.
And then there's this whole thing about speaking kindly to yourself, something I think we could all use a little more of, honestly.
For sure.
And, of course, practicing mindfulness so we can actually stay present instead of spiraling down into that self-criticism hole.
Yeah, all such good stuff. But honestly, the 2 that really jumped out at me were speaking kindly and that whole recognizing our shared humanity bit.
Yeah, let's unpack those because those are powerful. Like, seriously, think about it. We'd never dream of saying some of the stuff we tell ourselves to a friend, right?
Oh gosh, never.
But for some reason, we think it's open season on our own minds. So it's about recognizing that negative self-talk and consciously choosing a different voice, a kinder, more supportive one.
I like that, choosing a different voice.
Yeah, and then recognizing our shared humanity. This is where the research gets really interesting because it turns out pretty much everyone experiences self-criticism.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's not just you. Every single person messes up, feels inadequate, you name it. It's part of being human.
You know what? That is weirdly comforting. Like, just knowing everyone feels that way sometimes kind of takes the pressure off.
For sure.
Another thing the source mentioned was forgiving yourself, which, to be honest, I always thought was kind of like letting myself off the hook.
It's actually the opposite.
It is.
It is. See, when you're not stuck in that shame spiral, you can actually be more accountable for your actions, and that's how you make real changes.
Wow. It seems so counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you put it that way.
Right. Self-compassion kind of clears the path for real, genuine personal growth.
It's like unlocking a whole other level.
Yeah.
So to quickly recap those 5 skills, acknowledge your feelings, be kind to yourself, like really be kind. Practice that mindfulness. Remember, everyone's human and forgive yourself. Simple to say, maybe not so easy to always do, but definitely possible.
Absolutely. And as you go through your week, here's a little something to think about. If you were your own best friend, how would they practice self-compassion towards you? Let that guide you and see what changes.
That's great advice. All right, until next time.